So one very funny thing about the setup that we have was that this whole thing wasn't planned. It just happened as China, and here we are, talking about all the very good things that we have in store for you. So today we're going to talk about launching an online store. So how do you set up a store from scratch? What do you do as someone who's looking to go into the online space as a vendor or a seller or any of the above, right? So this is Quiberry as usual, and we're going to give you all the very fine details. So let me just give me a second here, and I'll put up my presentation. All right. So yeah, this is it. Launch an online store. What you need to do to get started, and this is very generic. So irrespective of your experience, irrespective of where you're at currently, we believe that you will definitely have something to learn. And irrespective of what platform, what good or service you're selling, you would definitely gain something from the meeting.
Yes.
Right, the Quiberry webinar today.
Yeah, so before we continue, I want us to do something we usually do. Copy this link, share it with a contact that you know that would benefit from it, right? I know that we have people in our networks that we know are going to benefit from. So copy it right away, share it with them, their DMs or on your status. You can do that. And if you don't have any contact that comes to mind, you can just share it on your social media channels, and then just make sure you bring one more person with you so that they don't miss the whole thing. And that's it. So we will start with a brief intro about Quiberry. What is Quiberry? And there are many sides to the story, right? Very interesting sides. I think we'll start with Daniel's side. So Daniel, can you tell us what is Quiberry and how did Quiberry begin briefly?
Yeah, so Quiberry, as we say, is a marketplace for exclusive goods and services. But how did it start exactly? So we had this entrepreneurship forum. Yeah, you can say this was sometime last year, from the 20th to the 21st of November. And what happened was we had different people who were entrepreneurs come listen to different people talk. From David Elisa was there, Adeni Adebayo, I was also there, and Benjamin was there. This was organized by CIRA as an organization, right? And we talked about the different things to do in entrepreneurship and all of that. But one of the other things that we talked about were founder stories, so like entrepreneur stories, especially in Russia. And we found that people had similar problems, right? Especially with payment, with setup, with finding their community and all of that. And that was where Quiberry was born, at least at the beginning stages. We're like, how about if we set up a platform where we solve these problems so that we can come together and harness resources together and then sell online, right? Yeah, so that was where it first started. And then Isaac came into the picture.
Yeah, so this is interesting. I remember when this event was going on, it was quite exciting to join. And I saw that, this was a scholar, the ANSIR organizing it, but that's the scholarship organization for students here. But then it has a lot of information for many people from various like backgrounds, just wanted to learn about business, and many of the people that participated were actually graduates, right? They were not students yet, so there was a lot of value. And the thing that crowned the whole thing for me was when it got to the part where people started to share their ideas, right?
Exactly.
And then, I mean, the main thing was coming from the interactive sessions, but I remember it kind of built up into something that Daniel came to share with me. So what did you come?
Yeah, so then I actually came up and said, how about we build a platform like this to help people sell their products, sell their services. And then that was one of the things that Isaac already told me that, I was already thinking about something like this. I was writing down some things like this a few days ago. And that was where it all began, right? So we began to, like work on this together. And this is what we have so far, right? We've come some months ahead. It's almost a year, I think, just a few months left. And we've actually learned through the process. We've tried to serve as many people as we could, and that was it. So enough of our too many stories. Let's talk about the way to sell online. So what do you do as someone who's looking to sell online? And what are the odds? What should you be doing? So what should you expect? Yeah. So
So usually I'm sure many people hear about come and sell online, and I remember I used to be in this position where, first of all, it either sounded as noise to me, all this come get rich quick kind of scheme. And I mean, anybody with some respect for himself doesn't really fall into those kind of gimmicks, right? So I was thinking, how will I get into this? Like, it's not for me, definitely. So it's either it sounded as noise to you, like come get rich, or it just sounded probably some form of, I don't know, MLM kind of schemes, or like it just sounded like something that is not for you. Basically, that's the initial setup for me. But gradually, when I came to a junction where I needed this kind of platform, and then I began to dig in deep, and I saw that, wow, there are a lot of things to it, and it just depends on the kind of, evangelists you meet, right? So if you meet the people that actually are working in those confused end, then you will get that impression. But if you actually get people that are methodological, you would learn that they're actually running a legitimate business. It's not just some come and get rich quick, some setup. So that's the same thing. And this webinar is going to carry a lot of information just for a general person that wants to learn a thing or two about selling, and then somebody that wants to now get started selling online. So that's it. And then the first thing to do when you want to go online, right? It's to understand something. You may have experience working face-to-face with people offline, but until you actually try to sell online using any of the channels, never assume that you would carry just the traditional mentality and mindset online. That's the first thing. So you need to come with a strategy, right? So that's the first thing to do, basically. If you want to come online, come with a strategy. We'll break down together what this means with Daniel. So just give me a word or two about what does it mean to come up with a strategy to go online.
Basically, it's coming up with a goal, coming up with expectations, coming up with a proper plan, right? A proper setup. Basically, if you have no goal, it means you cannot define what success is for you, right? You cannot define what your expectations are, and as a result, even if you achieve success, all you keep doing is just moving on to the next thing. Right. And it's very difficult to track whether you're making progress or not, because you don't know what progress looks like. So that's what deciding on strategy is all about in the general sense of it. It's making sure you have a plan, making sure you have goals, making sure you have expectations that are properly written and that are specified in numbers and specified by some of the very things that you need. Right.
Yes. So having said that, we'll try to bring in practical examples, and I'll just throw a little reminder that you can send in your questions in the chat, especially if you want to actually be brought up. We have a space to allow you to come up and actually say a thing or two, but you need to say write in the chat initially so that we know how to do it in an organized way. So don't forget about that. You can actually write that you would like to come up, or you have a contribution or anything or two, or you want to just add something or a question, we'll let you come up. And also, just a reminder, please share it with your network, especially if you have someone that comes to your mind anytime you think of making money or selling online, share it with that person. Yeah, so we'll go on strategy now. Choosing the first thing we have really is to choose a highly leveraged business model, right? What does that mean? What does it mean to choose a highly leveraged business model? When you want to sell online, it's like you're coming into a new realm, like totally different, not completely different, but in a way unique. And then there are many channels that you can work with. There are people that start with just literally on their social media platforms. They share links on their status or do some things like that. Those channels work actually for a couple of people, which I know a couple of people that are doing good, right? On that level, it works for them. That's a good channel. The other one is just to go to the general marketplaces. We all know them. We're not going to mention them. They are not paying me. Nobody's sponsoring me here. So, but basically go to any of these marketplaces, and you can get started. And I tried to get up on Marketplace, and I actually really enjoyed the setup, right? The whole onboarding process is nice. So I have chosen I want to sell on a marketplace. I go there. The marketplaces, if you go there, they usually give you their own various clear models that they work with. Some of them work with fulfillment by buyer, for example. Some of these marketplaces, or by fulfillment by sellers. These are all few of the models they work with. When you go to those marketplaces, they have them. It's like you're taking it out of the box. You don't need to think too much. You just need to understand what they mean by what they are saying, and then you just pick the best ones for you. But if you are now trying to set up things for yourself, like maybe use your own social media, your own channels, or some other setups, like we all know them, WordPress, Shopify, and all that, that's also something unique that you choose. So do you have anything to add in that line?
Well, I just wanted to say that, okay, yeah, everything boils down to your strategy at the end of the day, right? So are you going to be selling more on, because of course we know there are people who sell on WhatsApp, right? And that's probably because they want to manage their clients there. And everything boils down to your strategy, your unique audience, some of the things that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing is like pick an in-demand niche and scalable products or service. That's so logical. It sounds so logical. It sounds so common sense, but the truth of the matter is not everybody does this, right? There are people that go to marketplaces and then try to just do everything, right? You see, I'm doing this, I'm selling this, I'm doing that. But that's for those on marketplaces, or even those that are offline. No, those that are off marketplaces, but maybe on social media or something. I'm sure I'm not the only one that have that friend or those friends that literally, depending on the weather and the day of the week, what they sell differs, right? That sounds as if it's a good market, but you know that people like to associate you with something, right? They want to know you as the person that is a reliable solution for this particular thing. So by the time you are all over the place, what happens is that there's an internal rating that people have of you, and you just rate low on all the possible places they could have met you for solution. And that's a weak, because when they think of, I want to get, somebody that does, let's say, photography or something, and they see that you just do 101 things. Meanwhile, there's somebody that does photography and they can actually see the quality. He rates higher than you. So even though somewhere at the back of their mind, they know that, this my friend or this my colleague could do this thing, you just never come up as the first person to go to, right? That's where the importance of choosing an in-demand something is, niche is. And this applies not just to this kind of service. Like, let's say you're selling something also. People would prefer to know that, I'm the guy for which thing? I'm the guy for, let's say, African food stuff, right? I'm that guy. By the time I become the guy for this drone and this one, and then
it becomes too generic.
Yes,
in a way.
Let's say you didn't even create a brand for them. So it can happen that you have separate brands, and then people are not coming now to you; they are coming to the brand. But if it's like, you are the face, and then you are the face for 101 things, you know that you will not be so effective before people. So that's it. So anything?
Yeah, I think that really answers it. And the other thing you want to check, if I'll add to that, is the word in demand. So you really want to make sure that the good or service you're offering, that the people that you're going to sell to have a demand for that product. And one of the ways to measure demand for a particular product is to actually offer the service for sale or goods for sale. Right. And this is the trick. You actually don't have to buy the goods before you offer them for sale, just to measure demand. But make sure you have some way to at least fulfill the others. Another way some people may recommend is actually asking people the kinds of goods or services that they would need. But the trick with that is is one thing to say, I want something, and there's another thing to say, I am willing to pay for it. What you want are not just people who would like something, right? But people who would pay for it. Because say for example you're selling hoodies, everybody likes to wear a hoodie, but how much are they willing to pay for a hoodie? How much are they willing to pay for that particular product that you're selling? So that's like another thing. And I think that already answers like the third point.
Yeah.
So
I'll just give a little example. So I am in a couple of sellers chats online or communities where I see the conversation, and I remember I came across a seller, a lady that does a turnover of how much in rubles, in the millions, maybe 5 million rubles or so.
And is that yearly or monthly?
monthly.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was wowed, right? I was like wowed. So I thought there has to be something big and huge behind whatsoever this lady is like. To me, it was like this lady is doing magic. But when I listened to her, I got to see that she was selling something very, very small. I think some form of clips. There's some form of fancy clips.
Wow.
Either those form of clips or some form of ribbons. So as simple as this product is, and you see the size of turnover, and then she has seen that the niche. So instead of her to be thinking,
clips, papers,
1,001 things, she just gets a supplier that gives her this in bulk, and she already has a channel that goes for it, right? Of course, business is not as simple as that, but business is simpler than we all imagine. That's the point of I'm trying to communicate like that.
All right. I think just so that we move a little bit quickly, I'll go to the next point. And I think already begun talking on this, right? Find legit suppliers to get products from. You want to find people who can deliver, because at the end of the day, you're getting paid for making sure that the goods that somebody is providing or you are providing, maybe service, for example, gets to somebody, right? So you need to find legit suppliers that you get your products from. You can also be the supplier of your own product or service, right? So you can be the person who's writing code, if that's the service you want to sell, or making designs or any of all the other things, or making soap, perfume, beauty products. I mean, there are people who do that, right? So either you're the supplier or you find somebody who's a legit supplier. And of course, getting the right pricing strategy means you know how much profit you want to make. And so your supplier must be selling at a price that gives you the correct margins. By margin, I mean the difference, like your profit at the end of the day. And then one thing you also want to do, I think this should come really early on, is that you should check on other people that are doing similar things to see their monetization strategies, learn from them and specialize. I mean, sure, you can spend maybe $2,000 of your money trying to get products and trying to learn about the customer and trying to do everything by yourself and then learn, right? Or you could sit down and spend maybe 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours trying to listen or researching on somebody else who has or started something in your category. One of the things I'll say is when we first started Quiberry, we started different small stores, right, under Quiberry. Now, this is the misconception I'm going to correct. So Quiberry is not necessarily Afro Store. Quiberry is not Afro Kitchen. Quiberry is a platform that allows these other smaller stores to thrive, right? So we only created that in conjunction with other vendors who now manage these stores, fulfill the orders from these stores, right? So but in setting up these stores, we had to take them through the right process to find out if there were other people who were offering these same services in Russia before now, and to try to sort of like understand the market and what potential there is, right? Especially with monetization strategy and everything. So that was another thing that we needed to do. And then as you begin to sell, another thing you should make sure you're doing properly is researching into your target audience. You want to research properly into the people that you're selling to, and maybe even begin to create differentiation. So the typical person I would sell to would be like this. Maybe it would be a male. I will show you more of user personas. I think as we go on, I think we can already go there now. So let
me drop a point. Just
all right.
On the former slide,
okay.
I think it was about learning from people in the similar space.
Okay.
Yeah. So
let's
I was speaking with someone. This is someone that is quite experienced in fast-moving consumer goods and services, and then also involved deeply with like food, basically snacks, all these like well-packaged foods. And he was sharing his own experience. He was working for one of the top chains in Moscow.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's worked for 2 or 3 of those kind of chains. If I mention the name, I'm sure you would know them, but I won't mention them just because.
All right.
Yeah. So, but basically, what he was telling me was, wow, they had to go to a unique learning process that was, even though they were top in this space, in this market, in Moscow, for example, in Russia, he discovered that some unique brands abroad have a way of increasing, literally like doing magic with their numbers, increasing the average size of the check, increasing the average number of orders from each account, literally by just tweaking a few things. Some of the channels they use, like let's say some of the configuration they have in the store, some of the models they do. He shared one of it. One of them was like they just so they were selling online already, but they didn't put a feature that allows people to actually pick ingredients, right? And then select where they want to pick it for. And he says like they were overlooking that, but they discovered that it was a high, like it increased sales by 20% when they did that.
Wow.
So people that work in large office complexes, they want to have a customized meal, but they don't have all the time to sit there or wait in line. Their break time is usually like very short. So they just allow these people to pick them online, do that. And then the person has already done that like 30 minutes before the break or so. And once he has break, he goes there in less than 10, 15 minutes, he picks it up and come. And that allowed them to increase checks by 20%. People were able to buy more, right? So this is just a simple example. This can be transferred to somebody selling online. You can just realize that, oh, for example, students would buy more if you do this, like that. And this also inform every other thing you do.
All right. So that really hits nail on the head there, right? Because you really want to research into your target audience, right? And you want to build these personas, and sometimes you may not have all the resources to do that on your own. So that's why it's very important to be in communities and circles where people sell online, so that you can share experiences, share knowledge, share data. Because one of the things that I see some people doing is they want to try to do business on their own because they want to have bragging rights. I was able to do this without anybody's help. But that's not the best way to go about it, really, right? It's really not the best way to go about it. So one of the things you want to do is to make sure that you have the right strategy. And then you also want to be in communities and circles that promote the very thing that you're interested in, which is selling online, basically. So this is an example of user personas and what it would look like. You don't need to do it too fancy. All you need to do is make sure you understand the different people that you're selling to and what it would look like, right? So you see that in this case, we have somebody who's 22 years old, would be a typical buyer. Somebody is 31 years old, another typical buyer, and 52. The way you attack these different user personas, different fragments of people who would buy from you, right, are going to be different. Like the strategies are going to be different. Say, for example, you're in the business of selling maybe
let's say
Afro stuff, right? You can sell to students, for example. That's one category. And say you're in Moscow where there are a lot of African families, you can sell to African families, right? And that's another category. And you can create special promos that are directed to maybe this particular set of users, to students, for example, or to families. So it helps you with really with the strategization, that your strategy, which is what this is all about.
Yeah, and an example I will give is again, popular brands that you know, but I won't mention. Like what they do is literally they have how do I put it? They have a standard store where they sell. Then they decided to go online, but even when they went online fully, their strategy is different. So close to where you have like young people, you have students, close to that's typically university or like student accommodations where you have like a lot of places like that. They had now dispensers, right? So they never had that before, but suddenly it appeared in their model because they know that students want to get it quickly and get going. And then usually the size of their checks is not much.
It's not much, exactly.
They are saving on what? Personnel and then everything, and they are still delivering.
They're actually helping the students too, because they are reducing the cost of what would have been, because if you have higher personnel, for example, that's like a slightly higher check size. And because now you have to be delivery and everything. So that's just it. And then also you need to iron out your costs for whatever it is that you're starting up. Whatever it is. So there are some numbers that you really need to be looking at to make sure that at the end of the day, when you go to market, you are able to break even, right? So that those are some of the things that you need to be looking at. So we already talked about user personas. I'm going to go straight ahead to branding. So what do you do after you've done your research, you've talked with people, you understand who your customer is and who you're going after? How do you approach the situation? Like, how do you attack it? So what do you do? Basically, I'll talk about the different things that you need to be doing. And you need to be in these 4 categories, different stages of awareness, right? So you need to be problem aware. You need to be aware of the problem that you're trying to solve. You need to be solution aware. So what are you doing to solve that problem? You need to be product aware, right? What is your implementation of the solution? And you need to be most aware. So you need to be aware of these things. And that's really part of your movement from just strategy to branding, right? Because the information that you've gotten from the research that you did, or whatever it is, your questionnaires or your small tests here and there, try to create different user personas, they're going to inform you when you're creating your brand. And the brand really is, with branding, you can go different ways. So you can create a brand, you can create brand content that are informational, for example, that involve some sort of research, right? And that have some sort of evaluation and that are transactional, right? Mm-hmm. You want to say something?
Yeah, just to say this again, it's one more common sense stuff, but it's worth mentioning that literally the difference between your margins sometimes can be in the branding.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
People.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have an example for that.
Yeah.
So for example, the expensive, for example, shirts, and expensive designer wears that people buy, right? Essentially, what they're selling you is the brand. Someone did a social experiment once, where from the United States. So there's a shirt they sell $5,000 US, and they say it's because it's from a French designer. So this guy did a social experiment. He took a flight from the United States, flew to France, got a professional French designer to design it, and then packaged everything. Then flew back to the United States, and he still had change to spare. He spent only like $3,000 US, right? So at the end of the day, everything is all about branding. So for example, you attach maybe some sort of influencer to your branding strategy, and then all of a sudden, boom, people are buying from you. Or let's say you try to clean up your brand to include some kinds of things, right? People are already buying from you. So
you go to a particular, you go to a particular shop, buy the same thing, and you see the price, you say it's too much. You go to the next shop or maybe another shop, the same thing, you see the price, and you won't even complain. It won't even occur to you to complain.
I mean, look at. Okay, maybe I should not go there. But look at iPhones and Android. Like
that's the big target. Let's leave it. Let's not cause a
no.
war
I mean, no. All right. So really, most things are about branding, like the brand that you have. And see, branding doesn't always have to be expensive, right? You can create a student brand, so a brand that appeals to students, and your branding can basically be, we are cheap, right? The Android is actually a brand. They're selling because they're a brand. So there are iPhones and everything, but we give you, cheap
quality,
quality, right? So the Apple company are probably selling you luxury, right? And then the Android guys are like, if you want to actually get things done, come buy from us. So now these people are going to attract different types of people.
Why did you change to a Bass Boys? Is that part of the branding?
No. All right, so they're going to definitely appeal to different sets of people, and they're not wrong in any way. So this other one is appealing to this other set of people, and so and you want to have a brand, whatever brand it is you choose, you want to have at least one, so that it doesn't seem like today you're trying to appeal to the rich kids, and then tomorrow you're trying to appeal to some other set of users. So you really need to create that brand for yourself so that people can recognize you and your product.
Yeah, and I think one thing I wanted to add that, the brand gives you the freedom to try a couple of things. Okay. Even though I remember we said you shouldn't be everywhere, But once in a while, you may want to try something, right? You know that there's a brand for that, right? You have a brand. So the business itself is alive, and the brand is like what people actually perceive of it. So the same person, that's why the same person is where in the same person is in electric cars. The same person is in
so there are different stages of branding, right? So for Elon Musk, for example, if I take that as an example, right, he has built his brand so much that he's his brand. Right, like Elon Musk is a brand, so much so that he can start a new project tomorrow and he'll be backed very well by the public, by investors, by all the people who need to back him up, right? So he has built his brand for himself, and that works for him. So you can even build a personal brand as maybe a creator. So you say, I'm a creator, I teach you how to do makeup, and by the side, come and buy my jewelry.
Just as a shout out to Victoria, I've seen her work like online. She's on the call now. So you see, like, she creates content, right? Content for people that want to learn actually how to make like reasonable meals, not poison. Sometimes some guys end up make reasonable meals, healthy meals. Like, you can see it, and when you now go through, you actually discover, wow, this is not out of reach as you would have imagined, right? That's already a brand that you can leverage and further go into deep.
And then you're like, now you want to order my spices, for example, order from
your Quibery store.
From your Quibery store. Exactly. And you see food blogs do this a lot. So when they write their food blog, for example, then they send you the site, and they're like, okay, order from here. Or even if they don't have their own stores, right? They send you some sort of coupon code to affiliate marketing to order from another store. So at the end of the day, everything is related. And brand is not just about, sure, there's design in branding. So there's like colors and palettes and all the other things that you do with branding. But branding is not necessarily about all of those small nitty-gritties. It's about the idea that you're trying to communicate. You need to be clear about the idea that you're trying to communicate, right? So, and that's why we are very specific with what we're doing now at Quibery. The idea we're trying to communicate to you is that we help other vendors set up.
So right? we are not a competition to, let's say, you want to set up an Afro store in Kaliningrad or Vladivostok. We are actually welcoming you.
We're welcoming you, yeah. So come and do that.
Yeah.
We're not competing with you. We're not trying to... Quibery is not your competition. So say, for example, you are in Kazan, for example, or you're in Moscow, or you're in Samara, or you're in Rostov, and you want to set up your online store. Set up your online store. Yeah, come to Quibery and set up that store. We're not trying to compete with you. We're not competing with you. And you're not competing with us anyway. Right.
And soon we are going all Russia, and it looks like
exactly.
No, let's say you also want to set up a store in Turkey.
In Turkey, right?
In Dubai.
In Dubai, because we do have payment methods to receive payments, not only in Russia but also in other places, anywhere else. So, really. So that card payments mostly. So that's like it. And the next thing you want to do after setting up your brand is actually the tech. So this is where the nitty-gritties come to play, right? Because you want to brand your websites. Now, you want to design it. This should actually be designed. So you want to design whatever it is, whether it's your social media pages, whether it's your WhatsApp contact list, whatever it is, where you'll be selling, you want to design that. And then you want to begin to manage your products. You want to manage your orders. You want to manage payments. This is usually where some people have problems, especially for those in Russia, because to collect payments online, you need to go through some due process, right? And depending on your type of visa, you may not be able to go through that completely, right? So, but apart from that, you need to set up coupons, shipping, connect to socials, policies, SEO. SEO makes your product rank so that by the time you go to Google, now I'm going to give you this tip, right? If you have a store on Quibery, go to Google and search for that store, and you'll most likely find it, right? On the top of the list, especially if the name is unique. So say, for example, if you put...
Why am I smelling some pride there?
No. We've built SEO into the very fabric of what we have at Quibery, so I can actually vouch for that. All right? I can actually vouch for that. That if you go to Quibery... Now, this is even for people who have their own websites and stuff, right? This is why even if you have your social media page, you should still set up a store on Quibery, right? There was one time I noticed that Paytribe was getting a lot of traffic from Quibery websites. I was like, Paytribe is a financial service, but they do have something on Quibery, and just because of that, they have more exposure, right? So by the time they search for maybe financial service or even Quibery itself, you have Paytribe up as one of the results. So that's like really.
Just a little bit of addition on the power of SEO, right? You can try to push things yourself gradually, or even try to go and start paying, right? Which is not bad if you factor it into your whole cost. But SEO saves you some of these things.
Exactly.
So, like, we had somebody contacting from
where?
Australia.
Australia, yeah.
So we've had
Australia
without any. This is not a friend of a friend. You know, if it's a friend of a friend, it's easy to explain. Australia, Canada, Belarus.
Yeah, we've
like
processed others. Yeah, so
and I was asking them, how did they find? They just said they put African
food
product, and then Query came up, right?
Yeah, that's one. And another reason why a lot of companies are moving to SEO. You know why? Because of the crackdown that recently we have with Apple and Facebook Meta. So a lot of the ad companies are really suffering because of that simple button, ask app not to track, right? And SEO is really very important in this day and age, because it's really the only thing that guarantees that you would get results with your ad spend or whatever it is, right? Even if your strategy is social media, you need to pay Facebook, right? And that's still not going to be, because like, how many of your followers really see your posts, really like your posts, right?
Yeah.
So SEO is really, really important. And to set up SEO, you need a website. But that's why we have Query. You don't need to set up your own website. All you need to do is set up your store on Query. And I would advise, use a very unique name. So for example, if you're going to use a name like happiness is a very popular word, right? And make it slightly difficult to rank very high for that name. That's why it's Query, because when you search Query, the only thing you see is Query.
Yeah. Just try it.
Like, even in the name, we gave that consideration. We had to optimize for SEO from the very beginning. So,
can you just try a Google search?
Yeah, so I can do that. Yeah. So.
Why do I feel like you're so proud of this?
So by the time you search for Query, the only thing you see is Query. From on the first page, the only thing you see is Query. Right, so that's like basically it, and we have set up.
So trying to search happiness, for example.
So let's say there's a store, for example, happiness store, right? Let me even put store just to make like happiness at home. There's like happiness everywhere, so you can see like there are different happinesses, and it's really hard to rank for those kind of generic keywords. So when you're choosing your name, it's very important to take SEO into consideration, right? Another thing, I think this is it. So I think this is a very good time to now go up and really demo what it would look like to set up a store. How much time do we have? I think we still have some time. So
no, let's go to the setup. But before we go there, I would like to do the reminder again. Write your comments in the community right now. If you have a question, right? If you have something you want us to address also, which we'll have time for, write it in the comments. If you just want to come up also and just say hello or something, please write it in the comments so that we can easily connect it. And then the last one is share it with somebody. Like, if you have that person.
I think it's football. Probably on the other
guys are playing. I mean, just share it to them. I mean,
yeah, tell them to come online now and
people that want to make money, they don't miss the chance. They can pause football for a while, quickly come and pick a thing or two, and then go back for that. So share it with the network. That's it. So we can go on to the setup right now, right? You tried it.
Yeah. So that's all right. So all right. So let us see. How would it look like to set up a store on Query? All right. What would it look like? This is the website. We've really done a lot of things just to make sure that the website is really good. Like, if I were to inspect this, for example, we really try to optimize to make sure that the website is intuitive, so that you find the things that you're looking for very fast. And one of the ways we're able to do that, you can see we try to present everything that you need from the get-go. Like, you see everything from the get-go. So as soon as you log in here, you can actually just access your card, for example, right? You can log in to your account by clicking on this. You can log in, and you can also access the menu. So if there's any other thing that you need, it's right there, right? So that's something that we've really done, right? Another thing you can also do is this sidebar here, right? I don't know if anybody has noticed this fun. I bet you should have. You can access different shops, the different products, and you can also set up your own store from here. Right, just by clicking on that, it will redirect you. So what are we gonna do? Should we create an account from scratch, or should we just go ahead and use?
Let's create. Let's work.
All right.
Let's do the whole work.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Okay. So to create your own shop, all you need to do is click here, or you can click become a seller. Any of them works actually. If you don't have an account, you would have to register a new account, right? Which is basically what we'll do right now. So what am I gonna use to register this account? Do I have a random email for that?
If you don't have, we can use this email.
Okay, what email is that?
So I'll show you. Let's use this email.
Okay, what's the email? Just to make sure our password is secure while he's getting me the email, I will get you a random password generator. Where's the password generator?
So we can use this.
That's Ziktani?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to copy the password. Okay, I'm going to paste this in here. I hope I don't forget it. Let me save it somewhere. All right. So always use secure passwords, please, especially if you're going to create a vendor account, just so that nobody else can get into your vendor account and request payouts.
Technically, it will work. But still, so that they don't cause you havoc. minimum, they can scatter things, right?
Yeah, they can actually
cost you more work. They can't take your money. That's yeah. By design.
Because by design, we won't pay out to
random person.
Yeah, so Ziktani at
gmail.com.
All right. Ziktani at gmail.com. I'm not a robot. I passed this test flawlessly. Okay, this email is already registered.
Oh my! When did I register it?
Okay, let me try this email and see if it works. Daniel76 at gmail. Okay, I need to pass that test again. I'm not a robot. Register.
Okay, you don't need to confirm, right? All right.
Please check your email to confirm. Of course, I need to confirm. But you think I'm going to do that off screen. So this is as simple as just putting in your email and your password, and then going to your email to confirm exactly your login details, right? So I'm just going to go there and I'm going to copy the link and I will paste that and then we'll continue the process. It's as easy as that. I mean, just in case someone was having issues. All right, so I've copied the link from my mail and I'm pasting it to verify my mail and it has been verified. And you see, because I clicked on that create your store, it redirected me to this page, which is like the seller dashboard. And here we have our vendor application. So this is the form that you need to fill to set up your store, right? Basically, you just need to fill this. You need to set up the names. So let's say Daniel's store, right? And then your shop description, your seller info. So let's say I want no. What store are we creating? So like we said, let's go through this process. What is our user persona? What's our market? So what exactly are we doing? Store for what? Shoes, handbags, African.
Let's pick something you can actually sell, right? Let's say you are selling. What do you want to sell? What do you like to sell?
No, okay, I think somebody should give me something they would like to sell.
Yeah, so someone in the community that can someone write type in the community. I can see. I'm checking the chats, or we can actually. You can unmute, right? The link we gave is.
Yeah, they can unmute.
So it's someone trying to give us. I can see. Read one. Are you going to be the guy to give us? Oh, okay.
Fried rice. Okay, so food. Okay, let's just take fried rice. Let's be very specific with our market. Fried rice. We deliver tasty. We deliver
tasty
fried rice to you anywhere in Rostov.
Okay.
I hear Rostov has good rice.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the opposite. But
no, like it's true. There are a lot of like good guys in Rostov.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Then the next thing. So seller info. Seller info is not going to show up on the front page, but you can actually just fill it in. So
yeah, just put this.
For us to know what your info is, right? And you can put your URL if you have one. You can actually put it. You can put your store phone number, street address, and all of that. By default, this is the United States.
Wait, the URL, isn't it a URL that will be created?
No. This is for, say you have an extra
you have
blog or
media
something.
okay.
Yeah, you can put that and that will show up. So Russia, for example, and the city or town is Rostov. The state or county is Rostovskaya Oblast, Rostov region. And okay, so if you have opening hours, you can enable opening hours and choose what time of the day you're open.
Let's decide.
But you're not.
We give you fried rice anytime.
Anytime, exactly. So this is enough, right, to actually submit your application. But you can go on to already begin to fill the other things, like your payment method can be bank transfer, and you're filling your bank name, your bank account number, your everything. The branding, right? You can only do this after you've been approved. Your shipping cannot actually begin to set shipping rates. So say, for example, I ship only to Rostov. So I'm going to come here and put Rostov, right?
300.
Sorry. That's Russia first, right? I ship to Russia, and I want to specifically ship only to Rostov. If you want to ship to all of Russia, you can leave without selecting a region. But if you want to ship, now you don't want to limit it. Yeah, you can limit it by certain regions. So like only this specific postcode, right? And then the shipping fee will be what now? 300.
Flat 300.
300, right? This override quantity, what it means is 300 is going to be for, like, if you order 20 packs of, it's still going to be 300.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. If you don't turn on the override, what it means is for every pack of rice, they're going to pay 300 less shipping fee.
Which can be crazy.
Which can be crazy, yeah. So
oh no! Instead of every pack of rice, isn't it more like every separate order or separate item?
Every item, yeah. For every.
So let's say if you have like where you can specify quantity, then if you specify like 5 packs, you couldn't charge 5 packs because it's a single product.
So where are you shipping from? You can choose to select another address that's going to be shipped from. Say, for example, you have your store address in Rostov. I don't know what streets are in Rostov.
Let the Rostov people help us.
So let's say you have a street in Rostov, for example, and you are shipping from another.
Lenina. There's always
Lenina in every single city in Russia.
Yeah, let's go with it.
So let's say you have it, but in this case, we're shipping from our shipping address. Right. Actually, I didn't fill in the address completely, so maybe I will use it there. Store address is Lenina 1. Okay. Lenina.
Or rather, let's put Studenchester. We think carriers go Lenina.
Lenina is fine.
Okay.
Lenina is fine.
All right.
Then here you can specify your social media handles. If you have a Twitter username, your Instagram username, your Facebook URL, LinkedIn URL, whatever you can put that. It will show up. Just for the sake of it, let me put a random username. Let me put that in the follow me on Twitter. On Instagram, it's the same thing.
That was smooth. That was smooth.
Okay, that's fine. And LinkedIn, you have to paste the complete URL, right? So, but I'm just gonna put that for now. The policies, you can create your own policies, separate policies. So you have privacy policy, terms and conditions, shipping policy, your return policy, whatever it is you want to put, so that people can see what policies you have for your store before you submit. And then the SEO. All right, so this is how you want, like, by default, we will feed your website to the search engine, right? But if you want to specify how you show up on Google or wherever, you can actually put it here and you will show up fine. On Twitter, for example, say your link is pasted on Twitter or Facebook, this can actually enable control how it will show up. Right. So I think we're done here. We can now apply to be a vendor, right? Application.
So I was literally timing how long it will take, right? Just so that we'll see. So,
even without our banter.
Yeah. So you can see how fast. I don't know. It's mirroring it.
Yeah. I think it's mirroring it. Yeah. But 6 minutes.
Literally, just 7 minutes max.
Yeah, and we're done. And because we inputted like proper data and everything, we are automatically approved. Like, it's actually very easy. We've just approved it. Congratulations, you're now a vendor. Be sure to configure your source settings before adding product. So we're going to follow this instruction and we're going to go to store settings. We're going to go to store settings and then we're going to finish the things that we did not finish for now. So for example, our branding, right? We don't have a store banner yet. Let's see if I can find a random icon. So let's see about that. I don't know about this. Aha. Let me use Tracy. Is she here?
We have used
that. All right. So I'm going to set this as the store icon, but I'm going to leave the store banner as this for now. And then I'm going to save changes. Right?
Yeah, it's two consecutive.
Okay, so I think this is basically it for the settings because we did proper setup. So for now, we can actually view our store already by clicking on this view store, and then we can see how it looks like. So we see our logo, but we have no products yet. We have our social media handles, which will redirect us to Twitter. So like I said, follow me on Twitter, and all of that.
Yeah, so I think that's literally how simple it is. In less than 7 minutes, let's say you even take 10 minutes, you can get quickly set up and ready to go. And the interesting thing about it is that there's a live chat there, right? Can you show
yeah.
You encounter any single issue, drop a message there. A representative will answer you right on the go as you are going. Apart from this, also, if you are in the community, which is a big plus, I think everybody on the call now, everybody on the session is in the community. Actually, by design. Let's say you see this video on YouTube, you see it on some other platforms. The first thing is we encourage everybody come into the community. Mm-hmm. Once you're in the community, you can quickly write a message and get support even faster. The reason is that everybody in the community runs to help, right? Mm-hmm. So you drop a message even before we react. We react fast, but even before we react, somebody would have answered you already. Like as simple as that.
All right. So I'm going to show you a few things very fast, but the thing is we're releasing a series of tutorials within the next, we already started actually, but within the next few days, we'll see more tutorials on setting up your store on Queryberry and all of that. But I'm going to touch on things very fast so that you can at least get a foothold of them. Right. So for the products dashboard, this is where you add your products. Now, if I had sales here, right, let's just reverse that a little bit. So if I had sales, I would see all the things that I have for sales. So the revenue I'm being paid, revenue I'm due, and all of that. Right. But we don't have much information on this store. So let's go to products. Products here, you can create your new products, for example. So when you click on add product, right, you can see how easy to set up. You can add your product name, description, your short description, all of these things. You can play with this a little bit just to see how it affects, how the product affects on the front end, right, on your store page. Your orders, I don't have any order yet. I just created my shop. Commissions, I have no commissions, so I cannot request payouts. But let's say I've been able to process payments, right? I would have been able to. So the commissions and then the payouts, right? It's very easy. So you set up provided you set up your payment method, all you need to do is just come here and then request payout. And yeah, I can't do that right now because I don't have any, like my balance is 0.
You haven't earned any money.
I haven't made any money yet. But it's as easy as setting up like that. And another thing is this, right? We're really giving you the opportunity to set up your own store, right? For free. And you don't have to spend any money upfront. Like, normally you would have to set up your website, hosting, and all of that.
You know, recently I saw, I was telling you, I saw one of these famous, we won't mention them, platforms that suddenly increase their setup fee, right?
Exactly. They set up now from how much was it? They charge you 30K to set up your store, right? But we're doing this for free. We say set up your store for free on Queryberry, and then you can sell your product. And it helps you with experience. One thing I think people don't appreciate enough is experience, the value of experience. And you can really set up your store and get started for your online business, and then it grows so much and so much and so much and so much, and then you learn what works for you and what doesn't. Right? So we have all the tools here, we have everything for you. It's now left to you. The ball is in your court, right, to decide what kind of store you want to set up and how that will go. So I don't know if you have any last things to add, because I think we're already
so
out of time.
I would just give as we promised,
okay, we're going there already.
Q&A stuff, right? So if you have a question now, drop it in the comments. If you have anything to say, you can also unmute and say it just in a few seconds. So you can literally, that's the time for it now. We promise to end at 9. It's 9 sharp. So the only extension is if you have a question. While we are waiting for someone that may want to say something, just as a final note, invite your folks to the community. The simple reason is that you don't have to be a seller yet you can be a buyer, and you don't have to be a buyer yet you can sell. There's something for everyone.
Yeah, there's something for everybody.
Yeah.
And yeah, so because we know that the recordings we made available to us, you can still invite people. So as soon as this call is done, you know somebody who may benefit from this, right? You can invite them to the community, and then they can watch this video and get the best out of it. What we'll also work on, like I said, a series of tutorials that will come up on YouTube, and then you can share the YouTube channel to them to get them started. Share the Queryberry link, let them know what's happening and what we have in store for you. And
as a final note, I see we have how many people? A lot of people. Let's say we have a lot of people watching. So we are taking a community focused approach, right?
Okay.
If we've noticed, the Queryberry idea has come out from literally the community, working with the community. So that is at the center stage of everything we are doing. So we are actively taking community feedbacks, right? We weigh in every single suggestion everyone sends. So is there anything you want to suggest? Anything you want to see live on Queryberry? Anything you want added? Anything you want us to pay attention to? You can always write it in the community, and then we'll work on that. So that's it.
All right. That's it.
So you can show the next.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yes. Yeah. So right now, any questions? You can. I mean, the fastest, easiest way to contact us, by I'm sure we all know now, is how via Telegram. Yeah, we can see. So at Queryberry on Telegram, just drop a message.
SEO. The name was unique.
Yes. So at Queryberry on Telegram, you can get answers. In the community, you can also tag at Queryberry, and the admin will immediately respond to you. So that's it. Final note: do a few things, simple things. Invite somebody into the community, and then share this to anybody that it will be useful to. Mm-hmm. Come and sell on Queryberry or buy from Queryberry. That's it.
All right.
Have a wonderful weekend, even though technically it has finished. So have
a wonderful evening.
Yeah.
A wonderful night.
Wonderful
Enjoy
night.
the rest of your evening.
And a great week also.
All right. Yeah, a great week. That one is absolutely. Very. Remember, you can set up your store like right now. So don't even wait till like tomorrow. Set it up now. 6 minutes was what we took with all the banter and everything. So you can probably do it in like 3. Time yourself and let us know how much time it took you. So that's about it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate your time, and take care. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Correct sound.
Viral boy, very so you are dangerous. Papa tell me, say, oh yeah, come here. Yes, so many things where you supposed to come here. Say, I did come. Say, I did iron trousers. She said, stop. Oh yeah, come here, find ya. Break you down. She said, make you hold on. Oh my dear, one day, so I ask her, Mama, now wait till you stop. I begin, I should carry your back to those. Make you know what they are going on. I begin, I should carry your back to those. Make you know what they are going on. She said, make you no forget only you. You go on for oh, you're holding, make me proud. Don't reach school, everything nice up. You don't say, I don't forget everything Mama talk, I don't draw tattoo. They don't they call me badness. My name like the king of the planet. Don't they follow the man? Where's not the man? We don't feel like no. So we can smoke everything that is smoking. Drink everything that is drinking. Love everything that is perfect. Everything that is